On this episode of Wagon to Wanderer, you'll see how I built these drawers. This is part 2 in the series in which I'm upgrading my trusty daily driver Prado into a dedicated touring wagon. Check out the first episode if you haven't, where I go over pain points and plans for the build. Car is a little dirty. I've just got back from the Flinders Ranges. It was a bloody awesome trip and I filmed it all, and I'll be uploading that trip video in the coming weeks, so subscribe if you're interested in seeing that sort of thing. Building these drawers was a whopping effort. I'd never undertaken any carpentry projects like this before. I'd only ever done 12 volt and basic mechanical stuff on the car before, so woodwork was all new to me. You'll see me make mistakes on the way, you'll see me learn a heap. It was lots of fun and I'm pretty happy with the result. Because I love visuals and because I love planning, but especially because I knew I would stuff everything up if I hopped straight onto the tools, I designed the drawers in CAD first. I'm using Fusion 360, but you could use something like Google SketchUp if you wanted to do something like this yourself. The main aims of the drawer design is to minimize the amount of things that we bring in and out of the car. The other aim is to minimize setup and pack up time. On the right, I've got a fridge slide. This is nice and low for easy access to the fridge. The current drawers I've got, the fridge sits high and we don't have a fridge slide, so the fridge is a bloody hassle to access. It's ridiculous. On the left is a pull-out kitchen drawer. This has a 2-burner gas stove and space for utensils and a small pantry drawer. I was going to build an extension slide on this. I decided not to do that because I have a table slot up here for any additional table space if needed. On the sides of the drawers are 2 platforms that I can drop things down to, so it's just extra storage space, and I have these small panels here at the front for switches. On the back is where all the fun 12 volt stuff goes. So I've got a 100 amp hour lithium battery, 12 volt panel here, and this is placeholder space for another battery or an inverter if I want one in the future. I won't be going over or doing any 12 volt stuff in this episode, so be sure to subscribe for the next episode in which I will do all of that. That stuff is exciting. I love the 12 volt. It's going to be good. Here is a 50 litre water tank. This is a front runner tank. It sits here nicely behind the rear seats and replaces the 2 whopping big 25 litre water jugs we currently use. I really recommend designing in CAD or sketching your design before you start building. Mistakes here are free and it helps to visualize and sort out any issues with the design before you start building. I've definitely caught so many potential issues before I hopped onto the tools. Really thankful I did it. The first thing I need to do before I can begin building the new drawers is prep the boot by removing the old drawers. Obviously they need to come out anyway, but getting them out will also mean I can confirm my measurements and begin cutting timber for the base and main shell of the new drawer system. The drawers were not fixed in and came out easily. Well, this thing's completely had it. Fully grotty, really wet, filled with dust. Obviously hasn't been changed or touched since 2005 when this thing came out of the factory. But I didn't anticipate this. I am a little worried about the water. When I installed the roof racks, I didn't put the rubber channel liners back in, so I'm hoping it's just water leaking or running down the channel, coming in through the dodgy door seal here, and running down to the bottom of the boot and soaking through the mat. Got to go to the shops and replace this and continue cleaning. The side panels of the boot also need to come out. These plastic things are fixed in with some bolts, easily removed, and allow access to more of the boot floor. I also wanted to remove these as part of my deep clean and to get an idea about where I might run some of the electrical cables later on. Finally got all the panels off, and as you can see, it is bloody filthy. So it'll be awesome to clean all this and make it all nice and neat, ready for the drawers. The good thing about having pulled up all this old liner is it's exposed a heap of grommets I can use for plumbing the back water tap later on. So if I pop this one off, you can see direct access to the outside. That'll be handy. A couple over here as well. There are quite a few bolts and brackets throughout the boot I want to clean, and a bunch of surface rust to clean off. I'm using a wire brush and WD-40 to get rid of the surface rust, and I also went over some of the more serious rust spots with paint. This will be good for future water buildup if it does happen. It's also really satisfying to get the boot ultra clean. I've finished the cleaning, touched up some rust spots everywhere, given everything a good scrub it up, vacuumed, probably went overboard, but I wanted to make sure all this was clean. With the old drawers, the carpet and the panels removed from the boot, I can go to town on cleaning the carpet, which I'll be keeping. I've got some carpet cleaner. I'm going to just hit it with some of that now. It smells a little, this carpet, so. The carpet came up good with a bit of this carpet cleaner and a vacuum. It no longer smells and is ready to go back in. Alrighty, I've got the boot clean and I can finally start building the drawers. Super excited. I've been waiting 9 months to get started on building them. First step, I'm going to install a cargo barrier. This is a half height barrier from Kaon, which is made specifically for the Prado 120. The reason I got a half height barrier was to avoid the full-size ones and how they tilt towards the back of the car and reduce the amount of space you have at the bottom. So I didn't want that to eat into the length of the drawers. Cargo barrier is in, took only 25 minutes, super happy about that. Normally it takes me a lot longer to get things installed, so yeah, awesome that it was really quick. I'm happy with the look. I was a bit worried about the barrier looking a bit busy back here and a bit crowded or whatever, but no, I think the black powder coating makes it blend in, so I'm really happy about that. Feels sturdy. And the other good thing about this barrier is the ability to put mole, military style pouches on there. So I've got this first aid kit with some of these straps, and yeah, so if I want to, I can hook that up there. I can get some other pouches if I want. I don't think I need them, but it's cool to have the option. With the barrier in, I could finally begin cutting some wood. This clip shows me anxiously preparing to make the first cuts in the raw timber sheets. It was actually my first time ever using a circular saw to cut timber sheets to size, and I needed to do it precisely. I look back on this with a mixture of frustration and satisfaction. I've learnt so much since, but I wasted so much time worrying about getting the cut right. Base is in. Test fit done, looking good. Really excited to see some wood in the car. Side panels need to go in still, so this gap here will be closed in by them somewhat, and there's also a plastic trim to go here, which will also fill that space in. Finished cutting the main frame of the drawers, so the sides, bottom and top. This top bit here will sit in between the two side panels. I've cut an angle into the back of the side panels so that they sit nicely against the cargo barrier and then curve down towards the back of the seats there, sitting flush with them. Now I am going to start nailing the frame together, and I can start putting the internal panels in. was so much timber to cut. It took forever. I probably spent about 2 weekends worth of time cutting all the timber to size, and I wished sorely for a table saw. Once everything was cut, I could begin assembly of the cabinet interior. Finally got the frame of the drawers done with all the shelves in. Some of it was a big time hassle. I put this middle wall in wonky, so I had to redo that. Having this shelf, keeping that steady while screwing it in level was also tricky, but I'm ready to take some more measurements and put in the side panels, the wings. Right now I'm doing some test fits of the side wing panels here. I'm going to use the whatever this part of the side panel here as a support. They'll just sit on top here, probably have a bracket fixed here to add extra support, keep it in place. Check it out. Fits first go. I'm super happy. I was really expecting this to be a big hassle, but this panel is sitting here nicely. Turns out I did cut this wrong after all. I've put both side walls back in now. I didn't have the side wall over there in before when I cut these wings to size. But all good. I should just be able to take off a length from the right hand side here and on I go. I've finished cutting out these side panels now. These are going to sit between the drawers and the boot door at the back. I'm going to use them as a panel for switches. I've got an Anderson socket I'm going to use for an inlet for solar panel charging, as well as Victron battery charger that I've got. That'll sit down there. I've got a USB charger outlet and some switch housings. These are going to be switches for the water pump and awning lights. So I've got 2 of these panels, one on either side of the drawers. One of them is going to have 12 volt switches, the other's going to have the charging outlets. Oh, f*** off, really? Before these panels could be fit to the drawers, I needed to carpet the drawers, so I moved on to other things. the main parts of the drawers cut and assembled, I could shift focus to the interior and details. Installing the fridge slide was easy, and I was thankful that I went with this pre-made aluminium one. I considered making one from scratch, but this took a quarter of the time, and it's strong, light, and came with tie-down straps. Now ready to begin on one of the parts of the drawers I've been really looking forward to, which is the kitchen drawer. I've got some good plans for it, including putting in a 2-burner stove. I've got a Dometic 2-burner that you'd put in a caravan, which I'll be fixing direct into the kitchen drawer, so I'll be able to just pull it out and have a gas stove right there, which I think is pretty awesome. To build it, I'm going to be using a mix of 9mm, 12mm ply. I've also got this 18mm hardwood countertop. Here's me waffling on about why I chose this stove. To summarise, it's small, uses minimal gas. I think I calculated it will last 9 hours with both burners on, and it sits flat on the counter, so with the lid closed you don't lose bench space. Almost got it in place and fitting well. The only bit now that's not sitting quite right is the lip on the stove there is still not sitting flush with the wood, so I just got to take off a tiny bit there, but otherwise it's sitting well and I'm super happy. It wasn't as complicated in the end as I thought it would be. At this point I thought only minor adjustments would be needed to fit the stove, but I ended up spending another 40 minutes or so cutting and filing. Stove looks good. I'm excited to use it. 2-burner, piezo ignition. Looks super neat. Once again, I found myself with a heap of cutting to do, this time for the kitchen drawer. Now I'm going to cut a hole and mount the gas bayonet socket. Done a quick test fit of the countertop and it looks bloody awesome. I feel like this is a momentous occasion because it was almost 8 months ago now that I was camping, looking at the back of the car thinking how cool would it be to be able to pull out a stove, no setup needed, and here we go, it's finally coming to life. Just quickly show the gas bayonet in situ. There we go. So sits quite flush with the back of the drawers, and yeah, that's where I'll plug the gas in, easy as. At this point I covered the counter in stainless steel, mainly for heat protection, but it also looks cool and provides a good surface for food prep. I cut the stove slot with an angle grinder, and this was an effort because the steel was stronger than I expected. I used a plain old hammer to fold the stainless over the edges, which is a pretty crude way to do it, but it got the job done. And oddly, it brought out a really primitive feeling, as if I could feel my ancestors hammering away in the forge. Kitchen drawer is getting super close to finishing. I need to now attach the drawer slides to the base of this. I've got some support beams that I'm going to fix to the bottom. I attached the runners to the kitchen drawer off camera, and during the first test fit I found that the drawer was sitting too high and the runners weren't aligned, meaning I had to take them off the drawer and redo them. This was a massive headache and put me back half a day. But with that done, I could move on to carpet and painting. I've cut all the carpet for the drawer fronts now, so before I stick that on, I need to finish painting the sides of them all. Then I will stick the carpet to the front of them all, carpet to the main cabinet of the drawers. But other than that, really close to finishing off the main part of the drawers before I can go on to the main part of the wiring, which I'm really excited for. And also just so happy to have come this far. So far it's been 8 weekends worth of work just to get the woodwork to this stage, because I've got work during the week, so I can only work on the weekends, and had lots of rain preventing me getting more stuff done. So yeah, super happy. There you have it, drawers are built. This was a whopping effort. Took me many months of weekend work. Took me longer than it should have because I was new to a lot of this stuff. I didn't have a table saw. As you now know, that was a bloody headache. Still don't have one. May get one soon enough, but that depends on upcoming projects. Overall, I'm super happy with how they came out. I'm really proud of myself for doing this as a first attempt. I think they're pretty good. Some things have started to irk me, like the finish and some cuts are a bit wonky, but all good. I'm treating this a bit like an experiment. We've used the drawers a couple of times on a camping trip, and they've worked really well. They solve a lot of the pain points, most of the pain points I set out to solve, so that's the main thing. In the future, maybe I'll make some more. I'll keep tweaking. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that feeling of wanting to continually tweak your setup. Next episode, I do all of the 12-volt setup. I had a heap of fun doing that, and it's something I know a little bit more about than woodwork, so there should be some good tips in there for you. Thanks for watching.